Mr. Siddharth Sriram of Mawana Sugars joins us right now on the phone line. Mr. Sriram, good having you. Thanks so much again for taking the time out. And I'll be very candid with you. We've been hearing a lot of talk from, well, traders as well as from fundamental experts about how the cycle seems to be bottoming out. It is at the lower end, no doubt, but the cycle seems to be bottoming out. There are lots of recommendations coming for sugar companies as well. I just want a businessman's perspective. For the last 2 or 3 years, we really haven't seen sugar as a sector facing some green times. It's been a lot of red. Do you see the cycle bottoming out, if not now, then over the course of the next 3 or 4 or 5 months, and then an uptick coming over the next 2 years? Is that something that you are sensing as a businessman?
One of the most important psychological shifts that has happened in the regulatory bodies, which includes governments of states and the central government, is that they have realized that agri prices need to be good. But equally, the intermediary, which is the sugar millers, sugar companies, need to have sufficient margin to be able to process that agricultural good. This was never the case in the past. They always thought there was a lot of juice in sugar, and therefore they could charge heavy amounts of levy, load them with many, subterranean taxes of one sort or another, whether on molasses or whether on power or whether on XYZ. Now they're realizing that if agriculture, where the bulk of India's people live, agricultural areas, if those are well rewarded financially, then the face of India changes. But equally, the intermediaries have to be reasonably rewarded to give a return after depreciation, interest, and personnel costs and development and latest technologies. And this is what is going to happen in the next few months and years. The second most important thing that's happening is that quite often the very high prices of sugar become available in the international market. But the government of India restricts exports, worrying about local inflation. There's a shift in that perception also. While the government is concerned about inflation, they are more concerned about the terms of trade between industry and agriculture. That's the shift that's taking place, according to me. The third very important thing is that even the state governments, a state like UP, is extremely concerned about the balance between agriculturists and the industry.
Sure.
So that's changing. Now, all these are works in progress.
Sure.
The Rangarajan committee, many committees have been passed. There's a lot of activity through CII and ISMA and privately with all these bodies. And then finally, we must recognize that the nature of India is that there cannot be only one aspect of the sugar industry. After all, coastal factories are able to export and import much easier. But 40% of the production is in Bihar and UP. So, those realities are beginning to filter through.
Mr. Sriram, which is good to know, but, we just slightly stressed for time, so just maybe get in 3 or 4 questions to you. What is it that you are hearing? Because the last 2 weeks, we've heard a number of news bits about how Akhilesh Yadav may announce, or the government may announce some SOPs for the sugar industry. There might be a couple of measures that might be taken for the UP mills in particular. Is there anything that is work in progress, something that could come out in the next 1.5 months, so that we stop listening to rumors and noise and focus rather on news? Is there something in the offing?
What at least I have advised is stop talking in terms of SOPs, talk in terms of balance of industry. So if they charge a heavy amount of entry tax, that we are arguing that should go away, because that balances the sugar prices.
Is that work in progress, Mr. Sriram?
It is 100% work in progress. Whether it will happen or not, I don't know.
Okay.
Then second is with respect to Society Commission and Purchase Tax. Now, a lot of work is to be done because we pay about 5-6 rupees per quintal. In our case, in the case of our company, it works out to 15-20 crores of rupees. But arising out of that, there has to be a lot of chain development work that the societies must do with the farmers. to increase the recovery of sugar, increase the varieties. So all those responsibilities and all that, they're all shifting. This government is looking very positively at the sugar industry in the future. Looking at the responsibility of the millers, of the farmers, of the consumers, as well as the government.
Okay.
I can't give you anything. Now, you just mentioned that, I overheard you talking about Tata Coffee taking off and all that kind of thing. Tata Coffee is also an agri product.
Sure.
Sugar must also take off in the same way.
Okay. So, the other bit is, Mr. Sriram, is on prices. And I have kind of mapped what you've spoken about the sugar prices over the last 12 months. More often than not, you've been on the button. Where do you see the domestic prices heading over the next 6 months, particularly in light of the fact that in 3 or 4 months' time, we'll begin the new season as well?
Yeah. Fortunately, the government has allowed for export in about 3 to 3.5 million tons of sugar export will actually physically take place. In addition, there is some news about damage to crop in Maharashtra, etc., and also in eastern and central UP. So we figure that the amount of production next year will be a little bit lower, but certainly more than what Indian economy requires. And the government of India will allow export. Taking that into account and taking anticipations and expectations, we expect the domestic prices starting from about 2-3 weeks from now to move up by about ₹1 a kilo, about 1,000 rupees a ton. That means to about 32.50, 33 rupees a kilo at the wholesale level to traders. And this is for the normal sulfitation sugar. Refined sugar will command a premium of about ₹1, 1.5 rupees per kilo more than that. Now, this is much better than what we've had for the whole year. So those people who are carrying some stocks will benefit accordingly. Our company is carrying about 80,000 tons of stock. So every 1,000 rupee increase means 8 crores of rupees more profit.